Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the horizon blurring the line between what is and what could be. Each wave that crashes upon the shore carries with it a question, a whisper of the unknown, a challenge to the very essence of how we perceive the world. We often believe that the world exists as a fixed entity, an objective reality that simply unfolds before us, immutable and absolute. But what if the world we experience is not a mirror reflecting an external truth, but rather a canvas shaped by the brushstrokes of our own minds? What if the reality we inhabit is, in its most fundamental form, a deeply personal creation? This is not merely a question of semantics or intellectual curiosity. It is a question that strikes at the heart of our existence, our relationships, our potential for growth and transformation. It challenges us to consider the profound impact of our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions on the world around us. Are we simply passive observers, swept along by the currents of fate, or are we active participants, co-creating our reality with every thought, every feeling, every action? Think of two individuals facing the same set of circumstances. One sees opportunity where the other sees only obstacles. One finds joy in the simplest of moments, while the other remains trapped in a cycle of discontent. Is it the circumstances themselves that dictate their experiences, or is it their internal landscape, the unique lens through which they interpret the world? The answer, as you might suspect, lies in the intricate interplay between the two. Our perceptions are not formed in a vacuum. They are shaped by our past experiences, our cultural conditioning, our personal biases, and our deepest fears and desires. These influences act as filters, selectively coloring the world we see, often obscuring the truth and limiting our potential. To break free from these self-imposed limitations, we must embark on a journey of self-discovery, a quest to understand the architecture of our own minds. We must learn to identify the patterns of thought that hold us back, the beliefs that no longer serve us, and the fears that prevent us from living fully and authentically. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront the shadows within ourselves. It demands that we question everything we thought we knew, that we challenge the assumptions that have guided our lives, and that we embrace the discomfort of uncertainty. But the rewards are immeasurable. For as we begin to unravel the complexities of our own minds, we gain the power to reshape our reality, to create a life that is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. We begin to see the world not as a fixed entity, but as a fluid and dynamic creation, constantly evolving in response to our own consciousness. This is the essence of personal transformation, the key to unlocking our full potential and the path to living a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. Now let's delve into how influential minds across history have engaged with this very notion of perception shaping reality. The ancient Stoics, for instance, believed that while we cannot control external events, we absolutely possess dominion over our internal responses to them. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, argued that it is not things themselves that disturb men, but rather their judgments about these things. A powerful concept indeed, suggesting that suffering arises not from circumstance, but from our interpretation of it. Building on this, however, thinkers like Immanuel Kant introduced a more nuanced perspective. Kant posited that our minds actively structure our experience, filtering raw sensory data through pre-existing categories of understanding, such as time, space, and causality. This suggests that we never directly perceive reality as it is, but rather experience a reality that is already shaped by the inherent architecture of our minds. We construct our own version of reality, a world molded by our individual cognitive frameworks. Conversely, existential philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre emphasized the radical freedom and responsibility that come with this understanding. Sartre argued that existence precedes essence, meaning that we are born into the world without a predefined purpose or nature. We are free to define ourselves through our choices and actions, and this freedom carries with it the burden of absolute responsibility. We are condemned to be free, as Sartre famously stated, and this freedom extends to how we choose to perceive and interact with the world. Another crucial layer is added by Eastern philosophies, such as Buddhism, which emphasize the concept of Maya, or illusion. This perspective suggests that the world we perceive is ultimately a construct of our minds, a fleeting and impermanent projection of our thoughts and emotions. Through practices like meditation and mindfulness, we can begin to see through the illusion of separation, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things and transcending the limitations of our individual perspectives. Consider for a moment the implications of these diverse viewpoints. The Stoics offer a path to resilience and inner peace by empowering us to control our reactions. Kant highlights the inherent subjectivity of our experience. Sartre emphasizes our freedom and responsibility in shaping our own existence, and Buddhist philosophy invites us to question the very nature of reality itself. While these perspectives may seem disparate, they converge on a central theme: the power of perception to shape our experience of the world. Each perspective offers a unique yet complementary lens through which we can reevaluate our lives and move towards a more meaningful existence. Reflecting on this journey so far, we find ourselves standing not at a definitive endpoint, but rather at a vantage point, offering a broader vista. It's akin to ascending a winding mountain path. Each turn reveals new facets of the landscape previously obscured, culminating not in a single, dominating peak, but in a panoramic understanding of the interconnected terrain. The individual trees, once our singular focus, now contribute to a richer, more complex tapestry of the forest as a whole. Consider the human experience as a symphony. Each note, each instrument represents a singular aspect of our perception, our beliefs, our interactions. Alone, these elements possess a certain character, a defined quality. Yet it is in their interwoven harmony, in the dynamic interplay of consonance and dissonance, that the true depth and beauty of the symphony emerges. Similarly, our lives are not merely a collection of isolated events, but rather a continuous composition, a fluid and evolving narrative shaped by the conductor within. As we move closer to a conclusive understanding, it becomes increasingly evident that the power to shape our reality is not a gift bestowed upon us, but a muscle that we must cultivate and refine. It demands constant exercise, a willingness to challenge our ingrained habits of thought, and a commitment to embracing the discomfort of growth. It is a process of continuous recalibration, a delicate dance between acceptance and transformation. Think of it as navigating a labyrinth. Initially, we may feel lost and disoriented, trapped within a maze of our own making. Yet with each step, with each conscious decision, we begin to discern patterns, to recognize recurring pathways, and to develop a deeper understanding of the labyrinth's underlying structure. The walls that once seemed impenetrable begin to reveal hidden passages, and the darkness gives way to glimpses of light. Drawing these considerations into a cohesive whole, we see that the invitation before us is not to passively accept the world as it is presented, but to actively engage in its co-creation. It is a call to embrace our inherent agency, to recognize the profound influence of our inner landscape, and to cultivate a more conscious and intentional way of being. It is an invitation to become the architects of our own experience, to design a life that is aligned with our deepest values, and to contribute to a world that reflects our highest aspirations. In light of these unfolding insights, the path forward begins to materialize less as a clearly marked road, and more as an open field, ripe with possibility. It is a space where we are empowered to experiment, to explore, and to define our own course. It is a space where we can embrace the unknown, celebrate the unexpected, and trust in our capacity to navigate the complexities of life with grace and resilience. The final note, when it arrives, will not be an ending, but rather a resonance, an echo that carries us forward, inviting us to continue the symphony within. Having journeyed through the landscape of perception, exploring its philosophical contours and personal implications, we arrive not at a definitive conclusion, but at a heightened state of awareness. It's like standing on the summit of a long climb, the wind whispering secrets of the vastness below, the vista revealing not just where we've been, but the infinite possibilities that stretch before us. The core message that resonates throughout this exploration is the undeniable power each of us holds to sculpt our reality, not through brute force or wishful thinking, but through the subtle yet profound act of conscious perception. We've seen how ancient wisdom and modern thought converge on this central theme, that our internal world acts as both lens and canvas, shaping the very fabric of our experience. The Stoics remind us of our agency in responding to adversity. Kant illuminates the inherent subjectivity of our understanding. Sartre champions our freedom to define ourselves through action, and Eastern philosophies beckon us to question the very nature of illusion. These are not merely abstract concepts, but potent tools for navigating the complexities of life, for transforming suffering into growth, and for discovering meaning in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. The ultimate insight that emerges from this exploration is not simply that perception shapes reality, but that conscious perception shapes reality with intention and grace. It's the difference between passively accepting the world as it is presented and actively engaging in its co-creation. It's about recognizing that we are not merely puppets dancing on the strings of fate, but rather artists wielding the brush of consciousness, capable of painting a life that is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. This understanding carries with it a profound responsibility. It compels us to examine our beliefs, to challenge our assumptions, and to cultivate a more compassionate and discerning way of seeing the world. It calls us to embrace vulnerability, to confront our shadows, and to transform our fears into fuel for growth. It invites us to step into our power, not as conquerors seeking to dominate the external world, but as stewards tending to the garden of our own inner landscape. The true practice begins now, not in grand gestures or radical transformations, but in the quiet moments of everyday life. It's in the way we choose to respond to a frustrating situation, the way we offer kindness to a stranger, the way we cultivate gratitude for the simple blessings that surround us. It's in the conscious effort to shift our perspective, to see the world through the eyes of love and compassion, to embrace the beauty and complexity of the human experience. The world awaits the masterpiece you are destined to create.